Hey guys, hope you all well. Okay, I've spent a good chunk of the day messing about with this seat up against the bike, taking it on and off, thinking how I'm going to mount it to the existing frame, looking at pictures of the Desert X for comparisons and stuff like that. Now, although it's a Desert X seat and we've sort of had to do that part of the frame you've already watched, which would be exactly like the Desert X because it fits a seat. The rest of it I'm going to make slightly different because I would like to see personally a bit more of the frame exposed, as in the other bit that's going to come down and the trellis working. I'd like to see a bit more of that exposed. Well, I'm just figuring out how to mount this thing, how we're going to start connecting it to the bike. I've got it all propped up again, that is more or less where it's going to be. The seat catch hasn't arrived yet, which, you know, I could have done with that really, but we can sort of progress a little bit without it. What I'm trying to do now is, at least in this video, get that top part of the frame connected, the subframe connected to the bike. Yeah, there's a lot of thinking time, a lot of good coat of looking at, as we call it. There is a lot of that going on because it's just as important as actually doing the work. I'm very pleased with it so far. Definitely better now I've lowered that grab rail. It looks loads better. I've also been looking at the rear mudguard. Well, it's only going to be like a little stumpy thing. Again, I am going to make that look completely different to the Desert X because I'm not entirely a fan of the look of the Desert X one, although I would have gone with it if it wasn't £150. But on the Desert X, let's have a closer look. The mudguard actually drops below this tube here, so obviously plastic, it comes down then goes along it. I think I'd prefer to leave that clear and we just see the frame tube, and our mudguard will be inside of it, so you'd only really see the bit that pops out the back there with the rear light on. That's how I'm going to do it. I don't want to drop it down here. Basically the part of the frame we're going to bring from here, if I was to just do it straight up, that is pretty much how the Desert X is. You do not see much of that part of the frame exposed. Like I say, I think I want to see a bit more of it. So what I'm thinking of doing from this line in the seat here is dropping ours down and then coming down to this, so we could see a little bit more of the trellis framework. No other reason, but I'd just like to see a bit of it. That is all. Now, underneath there, you just see the bottom mounting brackets here. It literally is the only way I can do it. Again, that is very similar to the Desert X. I know I keep referring to that. I sort of got to with using the seat. It's pretty much the same as this frame here, like the layout of it. So mounting that top part is going to be pretty much how it is on the Ducati. And say it's out of sight anyway. On the Ducati, from the photo I've seen, it's a bit blurry, but it just has a bracket up and it's mounted straight to that frame that we've just done. So that's how I'm going to go with that, I think. I'm just thinking of all the rest of it. Like I say, it's just as important to sit staring at it, thinking it, coming up with all your ideas. To me, it doesn't matter how long you spend doing that. I think it's important. I think when the seat catch comes, remnants of our frame poking out here, all that can be shortened then, and we can tidy all that up. So that's a nice finish as well, although it can't be seen. But the seat catch area wants to be relatively strong. Yeah. So I've got that where it's sat now. That's pretty much propped up exactly the way I want it. The seat height from the floor is about 35 inches, which is good. I'm good with that. Absolutely fine. Some of the dirt bikes I've rode are like 37 and a half inches, so I know I'm all right with that. I think the KTM's 34, maybe 34 and a half. So yeah, I'm good with the seat height. That's perfect. And the seat to pegs, that's all good. And again, if I wanted to increase the seat to pegs, I'll modify the pegs. That ain't no problem. But I think it's all going to be okay. I'm going to modify the pegs anyway. Me and Gertrude was on about this the other day. We're gonna, because he wants his doing. So we're gonna buy the kit that you can get off eBay, the serrated kit, and widen these ourselves. I'll do his as well, because any sort of standing up and on rougher terrain, these can be quite painful on your feet if you've stood up for long periods of time. So you want to spread the load a bit with a wider peg. So instead of spending lots of money on fancy alloy ones or whatever, I'm just going to make them by the strip. I think the strip's like £9 the kit is, laser cut, so we'll make them. I'm going off on a tangent a bit. So my head is full of so many ideas with this bike, and I'm really enjoying it. I do keep jumping around thinking of all sorts on the bike as I'm sitting here trying to just concentrate on the seat. There it goes. That's excitement. That's my excuse. So yeah, we can see under here, not very well. So the alignment with our brackets, the existing brackets that are on the bike, is not too bad. We've got slight angle changes, you'll see what I mean. But as long as I can get something in there and get them tacked to a little bit of our subframe that we've made, I can then build it up so it's connected properly. I've got clearance from the top of the shop there for our, I don't think you're going to see, no, you can't see very well. There's clearance there for our seat catch, which is good. It would have been nice if I had that, because yeah, because at this point I could actually raise the seat half an inch. I'm good, I'm okay with that. I might just do that anyway, just to be safe for the seat catch, because we don't want that fouling up with the top of the shock. Yeah, there's a lot to think about. A lot. What? All in all, I'm very happy with the way it's going. Definitely bet that grab rail's loads better. It was way too high. I'm much happier with that. Like I say, our little mud guard is probably only going to sort of be here. That is it. It's more something to carry the back light. And again, there's a gazillion ways to do all this design wise. I know some people probably say leave it without one, just put a light in, but I want to see a little bit of something there, and I'm looking forward to making a rear mud guard anyway. So yeah, that's how that's going to go. In the meantime, let's try and figure out the mounting points for the bit of the subframe that we've made. Right, I've now got the actual seat off, so we can sort of see what's going on now. Right, I've done a few measurements. It's sort of going to be very crudely set out, as you can see, all propped up there. It's all high-tech stuff in here. So what I've got to do now is make some brackets, and I can afford to bring the frame up off this probably about 1/4 inch. That is it. So with that box I've got, I'm going to cut some brackets, get a hole drilled in it, then get all the angles cut. See it how it goes across that. suppose, oh no, it's got to come that way. I was thinking maybe I could bend it back, but then I'll be bringing it off the rubber pads on the seat. So it's got to stay like that. But there'll be enough surface area to get the bracket welded on, and I can always add other cross members to sort of tie it all in. So to start with, we'll get the tube cut, get it drilled, and get it bolted in there. And then we could probably do some tacks then, get it stuck onto the bits. Right, I've pressed on a little bit. I just wanted to get my head down and just get that little bit done. So I'll show you through it. Don't laugh at the setup. I think it worked. Right, we've got some welds on there. I've been moving and tacking and doing, and yeah, there's my alignment poles with a high-tech cable tie, squeezing them to the tyre. That is probably not totally perfect, but it'll be good enough to get us in the middle of the wheel, which is where we want it. So that's what they are. They can come off in a minute because I'll need them for the rest of the frame. Basically measured the gap here. I've done the tubes that slotted into our frame. We'll fetch it all out in a minute so you can get a better look. So what I want to do is get it all apart now, do the rest of the welds around these brackets, and then yeah, just start laying the sides out. How are we going to do them? Probably drop the seat back on it, check it all out, and go from there. But it's attached to the bike. I just wanted to get it done because it was yeah, I was turning and froing, messing about, faffing about. But you know what, I just got to get my head down and get this thing attached. So let's continue. Right, for the first time ever, the subframe sits there, unaided by any sophisticated alignment tools. Whoops. It's sitting there on its own with bolts. Yeah, I know we've scooted through this, but it was just, yeah, it's frying my brain. I just wanted to move on a little bit. So we got all them brackets on properly. All I want to do is inside that tube is put some little infill tubes in there so it can't collapse when you tighten it right up. But for now, we're just going to get on with all the rest of it. There's still hell of a lot to go on with this back end. There's going to be a lot more structure in there, probably some gussets in the corner, some extra tubing, just everything to make it super strong. And obviously the ones coming from down here, all trellised. Don't know what I'm doing here till the seat catch comes. These will probably get cut down, then joined up, and again, all gusset work coming into the seat catch and stuff like that. Yeah, there's still quite a bit to go on to make that quite strong. Anyway, let's try the seat. This is something I've that crossed my mind all of a sudden. Am I going to be able to slide that seat on with the tank? This is going to be a fingers crossed moment. I was thinking this, how it's got to sort of marry up with the hook on the seat, and how we got to get it down to slide it. Yeah, let's just hope this is not a setback. Let's find out. One seat. Now, if it times nicely, let's see how it's going. As it drops down, as it drops down, it'd be nice if it just automatically starts. Yes, it just drops straight in. Yes, there you go, it's in. If it's lining up with that one, it'll definitely be okay with the ones at the back when we get them. I say, I think I'm going to do them on the mudguard, so it'll definitely slot into them. Oh, brilliant. That's on. Apart from the cash, obviously. That is on. It literally bumped straight on. That, I will admit, was more luck than judgment. Not afraid to admit that, but beautiful moment. Excellent. Okay then. Now we've got to start thinking about the sides. Now, I think it's this point where I'm going to start walking away from the Ducati look and start doing my own look. On the Ducati, that bar is quite tucked up, and although there's like a bit of trellis work in there, you barely see anything, which is fine. But I'd like it, well, I'd like to try and sort it so you do see a little bit rather than next to nothing. That's if it's going to work out okay like that. So at the minute, if we went straight to the point where it does on the Ducati seat, I suppose it's got fors and against. It looks all right tucked up against the seat as well, doesn't it? Or do we drop it down a little bit? As in, we'll have a bit of a bend in this, bring it down first, and then over to this. Also, what I'm thinking, if we did drop it down a little bit, it's going to give me a bit more exposed material for whatever luggage system I come up with, and lugs for different things as well, because I really want to put together a good luggage system for this. After staying in the wild for 3 weeks, literally under the stars for 3 weeks, you tend to learn a couple of bits how to improve your kit and other things to take. One being was our airbeds. Both of our airbeds popped. I suppose it's inevitable, really, on some of the rough ground. I know you can carry the closed sponge, whatever it's called, them mats, the dense fibre, I don't know, whatever they're called, you know what I mean, the sponge. Brain's gone. But that's just another thing to carry. So I've been looking into these camping beds, which are quite low. They've got a lot of little stumpy legs on them, about like so. There's nothing to pop, and it gets you off the ground. So I want it, like whatever kit we carry, I want it to have all its own place on the bike. So when you unpack, you know where everything is. It comes out of there, everything gets laid out at night, and when you pack back up, it's all got its proper place, and all your luggage doesn't start getting into a great big mess like it always does. Or it does for me anyway. Because I was thinking if I could get one of them beds, them camp beds, they're only about so high. I was thinking of one of them plastic storage tubes. I think probably put sort of documents in them or something like that, but some of them are quite tough and they have a big screw cap. If I could get it in one of them, I could solid mount one of them to the bike, so the screw cap comes off, the bed goes in it, and the top gets screwed on. Just things like that. It's all ideas at the minute, but I think with a bit more metalwork exposed, it will give me places on the bike to do all this kind of thing. Just my thought. So yeah, I might come down a little bit, then go across to that. So we're probably about like so, instead of right up there like that. Just about there. What I think I'm going to do is bend a bit and see what it looks like. And then obviously the trellis work inside, because I say there's quite a lot of strengthening got to go into this. Here, there and everywhere. Anything that could eliminate a breakage, especially with luggage on the back. So, or everywhere where the pipes are joining each other, gusset all that up, every single one, to increase its strength. Anyway, let's bend a bit of this and see what it looks like. Right. this down a little bit. Let's try there. That might do it. Right, put a bit of a bend on that. I think it'd be better. I know it's going to probably be hard to see on camera. Obviously, forget the big long bit down there. And then, obviously, that will be trellised up. I have a few bars in there, up and down. And then, like I said before, any join will have gussets in as well, just for additional strength. I was thinking about putting it all the way back there, but that really does look terrible, in my opinion. I know it's not all about the looks, but there, I think I'll be quite happy having that bend in it and bringing that bar down. Like I say, it'd give me probably more metal space to put lugs for mounting things on for when we do the luggage side of things. And as I mentioned before as well, we're not going totally and utterly overboard on this build now, because I'm trying to keep the cost and time down to give me more chance of keeping it. Again, with the paintwork, the rattle cans. I was thinking of that. Those are the older ones who watch the channel may remember that film. I think it was it 78, 79, late 70s, I think it was. The film Hot Rod. I loved that film as a kid. I would have been 8 or 9 years old. But the car in there at the time infuriated me, because I always wanted him to paint it. The Willys Coupe. I think did it have an Hemi engine in there that was took out of the car that he crashed? It was a long time ago. But the Willys Coupe, they kept it, I'm sure it's grey primer. And as a kid, I was thinking, please paint the car. Shouting at the telly, when they're going to paint that car? But I get it now. You know, our hot rod scene back then was full of shiny chrome metal flake pinstripes and flames in the UK. Back then they had a hot rod street racing scene which was a bit more gritty. Anything that mattered was what was under the bonnet and the chassis. The rest of it was like, meh, whatever. So I get it. Let's just leave this. Don't paint it, just leave it. Leave it as it is. We'll see. But yeah, I think that's going to be better. That's what you'll be all doing to this. Paint the bike. I'm going to do the same thing, because that happened to me watching that film in the 70s. Please paint the bike. Nah. Yeah, I think that's the way I'm going. And then we'll run gussets up there. Maybe that can have a mounting point for something in the gusset as well as. We will see as we go along. So I think tomorrow, so it's getting late again, we'll pull the bike out, get another one of these done. Hopefully the seat catch will be here, and we'll get quite a chunk done to this. If not, nearly finished, which would be lovely. I'm very pleased with how it's going. I'm so glad that bit is over with. That's got to be the worst part. That was fairly tricky, although simple looking. A bit like myself. Right, what's next? I don't know. Okay, there's one last job I'm going to get underway before I call it a day. And what it is, I'm going to change the mounting points for the bit of tube that we've just been offering up to the bike, which is these. Now we've had a change of plan. I don't like the layout of them. Yeah, they're not good enough. So what I'm going to do, not now, but I'm going to get everything ready for tomorrow. I'm going to chop them off and do a bit more substantial triangular bracket, because the way I'm going to do this is like this. like we've done here. Turn some of these down and do the same there. So that being tiny is not really going to be suitable to do that with. So yeah, I'm going to change them out. Let's find some 5 or 6 mil plate, and I'm going to have a look around, see what solid I've got to bore out to make them mounting points with. So I'll have a quick search for them, and we'll have a little mess about on the lathe. It's a nice quiet job for this time of night. That's another, I keep getting thrown that it, is it late? These darker nights are throwing me. I'll take a bit of getting used to. Oh, it is 8 o'clock. Nah, still all right. Let's have a look through the magic bowls, the boxes. Hopefully it'll produce something good. So I have these couple of old bowls down here, and sometimes you find some little beauties in here. Basically, this came from a mate of mine whose brother does a bit of scrapping. Traps around in his van, picking up people's old prams and bicycles and stuff. But sometimes he comes across some little gems. Like these boxes. These boxes to me is gold. So my mate collared hold of them. Bits like that might come in handy one day. Don't know what for, but you never know. Got little blocks of alloy. A few bits of solid bar, look. All handy stuff. Is that threaded? No. No. Hopefully that's all alloy. Just see if we'll ooh, maybe we'll get one of the little brackets, the new frame brackets for that, what we've just been talking about. Might do. Let's have that to the side. Will they fit my... No, I think they're too big. I think they're too big for my drill. Again, they might come in handy for something. Oh, that might be a bit small. I'll keep it out just in case. Alloy. I come across that the other day actually. You know, I was on about a folder. Still a bit short though. Could have done with being twice as long, and that would have been perfect start, wouldn't it? It might be good for something. What's that? I'll tag off something. This is one of them boxes you see at the auto jumbles. You just end up rummaging through for bits. They're a bit too overkill, I think. Where are they? I think they're stainless as well. Oh, it's a shame all that's drilled, isn't it? That would have been ideal. Yeah. I'm trying to find... I have got one bit of solid round, but I was trying to find a different size. Alloy disc, you know, all this over the years you may have a use for it. Shame that weren't smaller. That's nearly ready made. Bit too big. That's a shame, isn't it? If there's a smaller couple of them, that would have been brilliant. Never mind. Right, I've got that. That will make our rings on the end to bolt to our new frame brackets. I've just been having a look at that we've pulled out of that bin down there. It is magnetic, but I don't want to use it. I don't know what it is, but when you grind it, there's hardly any sparks come off it. It's heavy stuff. So yeah, I'm not using it. It's a good chance it's stupidly hard, and that'll highly likely it'll just break off the weld. So yeah, I'm not going to use that. I'll find some. I'll know what it is. Some good old mild steel. I'll bound to have some somewhere. Well, I'm going to start laying these out. At least get a bit of that done. Right, got the first bit cut, ready to drill. I've also dropped the cardboard side panel back on. It has changed slightly. I thought it would, but yeah, sort of get an idea of what we are going to look like. Yeah, it's not gone that much off though. It has a little bit, but not that much, so it ain't too bad. Yeah, I've had a lot of thinking about the side panels as well. I know that these videos there is a lot of chitter chatter, but I'm just trying to share my thoughts and the directions we're going and mind changing. Someone did in the comments say, like, go right down to here, follow the whole line. I just think that it'll just make that far too bulky. I quite like the thought of following the line of the air box there more than anything, rather than the line of the seat. You know, that'll sort of soak up when we get the metal work in and the trellis work. And yeah, I have got a bit of an idea, because as I said, the other side's got to be odd, because it's going to be part of that is an air intake. So we'll see when we get to that. Right, we'll get a bit of these done. I'm using 10mm bolts to mount all this subframe. The top ones at the minute are on M8s, which I am going to drill out and change to 10. Okay, moving on to the following day. It got late last night and I was messing about, turning and throwing. I kept going, moving things around on the bike. I was just hovering around in my own little world. Some of these videos are going to be a bit, yeah, hit and miss, thinking things out and not a great deal getting done and stuff like that. It's all part of building the bike. So yeah, if you can bear with me on that, I'm just trying to share as much of the journey as possible. Anyway, I got this little thing turned down on the lathe last night. That is obviously going to be for the frame to bolt to the bike. We're going to change the bracket on the bike, which that is today's job. So I'm going to call it this a video, because I want to start afresh and crack on with the rest of that subframe today. So that will be your next video. Anyway, cheers for watching, guys. I'll see you very soon.